In this video I will tell you what are the best recipes for the best armors in the Forge on Roblox. Don't skip this video to understand everything. Leave a like, subscribe, and comment to participate in our giveaway. If you keep getting knocked out in the Forge, the problem usually isn't your dodging or timing at all. And I'll tell you right now, it almost always comes down to your armor setup. The Forge system looks easy from the outside, but the way it handles our multipliers and passive traits can completely change how tanky you actually are. Once you figure out how the ores stack together, you can build a set that keeps you alive way longer than anything made from random chunks you toss in without thinking. The weight of your armor comes from how much ore you feed into a single craft. Smaller batches make light pieces, adding more moves it into medium, and dumping a big load creates heavy gear. Heavy armor gives better base protection, but the real power comes from picking the right ores so you actually unlock the defensive traits. This is where most players slip up, since they just throw in whatever they mind and end up with something bulky but not effective at taking hits. Every ore affects the final result differently. Some boost damage, some give effects that trigger when your health drops, and some are made for tank builds. The strongest defensive ore is obsidian, no question. Any piece that has a real chunk of obsidian in it gets a huge bump to protection. With enough of it in your mix, your defenses can shoot up by around 30%, which is a massive upgrade. You can farm it from volcanic rocks, although it takes some patience since you need a solid amount for a full set that actually works. Mithril is the second best defensive ore. It doesn't give as much protection as obsidian on its own, but it still adds about 15% more durability. When you mix mithril and obsidian together, you're already pushing close to a 50% increase in toughness. And that combo is basically the core of any reliable tank build. You use obsidian for the big resistance bump, mithril to reinforce it, and then sprinkle in a couple utility ores depending on how you like to play. Uranium is a great utility pick because it gives a small burst of area damage based on your max health, which helps when you get surrounded or boxed in. It's not a replacement for defensive ores, but it fits perfectly once you already secured your main resistances. Iron and other common ores can be added too if you want tiny offensive bonuses while still staying mostly defensive. The most important part is understanding how the composition works. The Forge doesn't just check what ores you used, it checks how much of each one you used. If you drop a single obsidian into a giant pile of diamond, you won't get the obsidian passive because the percentage is too low. For a trait to activate, that ore needs to make up enough of the total recipe. That means you should stop throwing in random materials and actually plan your mix. Pick the traits you want, gather the right ores, and put them in at a ratio that actually triggers the effect. If you stick to a clean mix built around obsidian and mithril, with uranium as a bonus option for extra value, you'll end up with armor that makes Forge fights way less punishing. You'll still take hits, but you'll survive long enough to finish your runs instead of getting folded every few minutes. This setup is simple to understand once you learn the ratios, and it's a massive step up from crafting blindly.